In 1858, Captain Dovchenko founded a military outpost on the Amur River and named it Khabarovka for Yerofey Khabarov, the 17th century Russian explorer. Nowadays in its place there is the city of Khabarovsk, one of the largest Russian cities that is the capital of Khabarovsk region. Khabarovsk region is one of the biggest territorial subjects of Russian Federation, included in the Russian 7th Far Eastern Okrug. The greater part of its territory is mountainous. Sukhoti Alin and Zhukjor are the names of the two major mountain ranges extending in parallel to the coastline of the Sea of Okhotsk and the Sea of Japan. These seas form the east frontier of Khabarovsk region. The Amur River is the main transport waterway of Khabarovsk region. Having its sources in the North China Plains, the Amur River flows through southeast of Khabarovsk region and the whole of Far Eastern Okrug. Khabarovsk is one of the oldest Russian towns. In its glorious past, achievements in the economical, scientific, cultural spheres of life, as well as exceptionally advantageous geographical locality, gave it the face of the capital city. Actually, for a long time, Khabarovsk has been the center of the vast area that occupied about 40% of national territory. Khabarovsk is one of the largest Russian Far Eastern towns. Khabarovsk is the official administrative center of the Federal Okrug, which situated there the headquarters of Russia President Representative. It is also the center of political, cultural, and economical activities of all Russian Far East. The regional administration and headquarters of all federal law enforcement structures are located there. The regional educational, public healthcare, and scientific research institutions take their place in Khabarovsk. Due to unique geographical location of Khabarovsk, it has been the link between European Russia and Asia-Pacific regions since the time of its foundation. Khabarovsk is an important Russian transport junction. It is the crossing of all railroad, motor road, air, and water transportation routes. Khabarovsk is the major junction of the Trans-Siberian Railroad that is the longest railroad of the world. Khabarovsk Airport is one of the largest in Russia. It is able to serve such giant jetliners as AN-124 and Boeing 747. Because of favorable geopolitical situation, Khabarovsk has entered the largest Russian Federation financial centers. Khabarovsk's powerful economic potential, well-developed infrastructures, and the richest raw material reserves according to the world standards attract to the city close attention of the World Association. Russian Federation possesses the world's richest wood reserves. In general, the major part of Russian forests belong to the far eastern areas and particularly Khabarovsk region, where more than one-half of the territory is covered by forests. Owing to unique climate conditions, Far Eastern forest flora strikes with its variety and blending of northern and southern species. Thus, one can be fascinated by watching northern spruces entwined by south tropical lianas. The developed ecological system of the Far Eastern forest is called taiga. Far Eastern taiga reflects the typical features of regional nature. Some rare and exciting animals registered in the World Red Book are the inhabitants of Far Eastern taiga. The most famous of them is, of course, Ussuri tiger. Among others, it is worth mentioning brown and Himalaya bear and Ussuri leopard. In the water of the Amur River basin, you can find such valuable fish as sturgeon and kaluga. During the spawning time, huge shoals of pink and dog salmons move upstream many kilometers. The total wood preserve of Far Eastern forest is 4,100,000,000 cube meters. 70% of the Far Eastern forests are coniferous, consisting mainly of spruce and larch. Deciduous species are more varies and represented mostly by birch trees, white, yellow, and stone, and white aspen. Among broadleaf species, the most common are oak tree, Manchurian nut tree, and maple. More than 250 forcing timber harvesting companies work on the territory of Khabarovsk region, and the largest of them is the Malayan Ribunin Hijau Group. In fact, Ribunin Hijau Group consists of 3 timber harvesting companies. They are the Ribunin Hijau Far East Company, Ribunin Hijau International Limited, and Kvoris Starma. Ribunin Hijau Group companies annually harvest about 1 million cubic meters of timber. That is nearly 15% of the total regional timber output volume. The Ribunin Hijau Group companies employ over 1.5 thousand people. Ribunin Hijau Group Enterprises started working in Russian Far East in October of 1997, when Ribunin Hijau Far East Company Limited won the forest auction organized by Khabarovsk Region Administration. At the present time, Ribunin Hijau Far East Company has taken on long-term lease of 366.9 thousand hectares of forest areas in the north of Khabarovsk Region. Ribunin Hijau International Limited Company came to Russian Far East in 1988 after winning the international forest competition. It took on a lease for 49 years and 361,000 hectares in the south of Khabarovsk region. Forestarma joined the group in 2002. The administration center of Ribunin Hijau International Limited Company is located in the settlement of Sikpai at a distance of 200 kilometers from Khabarovsk. The leased area is 361,032 hectares. The Ribunin Hijau International Limited Company has been working on this forest land since 1998. One of the main arguments supporting the idea to lease it was the existence of a formerly built forest harvesting base, allowing to diminish operating outlay. For today, Ribunin Hijau International Limited Company employs 470 persons. The Ribunin Hijau International Limited consists of the upper and lower timber yards, road constructing team, and mill and a motor car garage. On forest lands in proximity to Sukpai, the company harvests mainly spruce and fir trees. Development of Sukpai forest lands has some special features. The work starts with the air photography of the area. When the forest lands are chosen, the work is continued by topographers laying the routes for future motor roads. After the design documents are passed, the groups of specialists are sent off to the forest to mark subdivision for transport machinery to the taiga and start outing rides for the roads and to lay road surfacing. Out by numerous small rivers and streams, lots of bridges are to be built across them. Forest lands leased by Ribunan Hijau International Limited are located in Lazo district, that is in the southeast of Khabarovsk region. The forest land is called Sukhoti Alinsky for the name of the crossing. The mountains and adjoining flat terrains are mostly coniferous and represented by larch and fir trees. Broadleaf types are of more variety with dominant oak tree, birch tree, maple, and Manchurian nut tree. The climate of the district is characterized by not humid summer and cold winters, pour in snow. Because of the very thin snow blanket in winter, the ground freezes deeply and slowly thaws in the spring. Spring is usually of short duration with large night-to-day temperature ranges. Forest harvesting on this land is carried out by means of wheeled harvester forwarders machines, felling the tree, cutting branches, and sawing logs for sortiments. All of it is done by harvesters. 51 centimeters, felling is realized by hand-operated petrol saws. For selection, transportation, unloading, and stacking of the sortiments, forwarders' machines are used that work usually at a distance of 1 kilometer from a suitable timber carrying motion road. The number of employees engaged in the harvesting operations is 50. From the upper to the lower timber yard, the wood is transported by Mercedes and Kraz timber carrying trucks. On average, each truck carries daily about 45 cubic meters of timber. Coming to the lower timber yard, logs are being unloaded by the special timber unloading machines, provided with a jaw-like device, and then sorted on the conveyor belt. In the day, the conveyor belt, which is served by 46 operators, processes 300 to 400 sortiments. Ribunan Hijau International Limited possesses its own sawmill, making it possible to process harvested timber at the site of harvesting. These operations are made by the group of 28 men. Also, the company keeps a workshop and spare parts for all machinery included in the harvesting process. Tracts of forest leased by Ribunan Hijau Far East Limited Company are the north of Khabarovsk region in Solnichny district. The forests there are mainly coniferous, with dominant larch trees. The spruce and deciduous forests consisting mostly of white birch, aspen, and alder occupy only 12% of all forest areas. The territory of some forest lands where the company harvests timber is equated to the north areas. Duration of winter in proximity of the settlement of Goran is 178 days, with mean winter minimal temperature minus 28 degrees Celsius. The thickness of the snow blanket there reaches half a meter. The company started harvesting on the territory of Solnichny district in May 1998. The whole forest area is divided into two lands. The forest area leased by the company in the Kharpuchi unit of Solnechny Forestry is 62,000 hectares. The area of the forest in the Olchi unit of the Olchi Forestry is 304,000 hectares. Because of high output quotas for harvesters and forwarder operators, the harvesting process goes practically without a break, even in the night with the aid of artificial lighting. Only in the forest areas, 19 units of harvesting machinery are used continuously. After being processed by harvesters, the logs are loaded by forwarders onto timber-carrying trucks and sent off to the lower timber yard by a motor road. By the general result of 2002, Ribunin Hijau Far Eastern Limited Company has harvested 275,032 cubic meters of timber, including raw and saw wood. The Goran branch of Hijau Group consists of several subdivisions. Administration headquarters of the company is located in the settlement of Goran. It is situated to the northeast of Khabarovsk along the route of Baikali-Amurskaya Railroad. Timber is harvested in the upper timber yard and then transported to the lower one. In the lower timber yard, timber is sorted and loaded onto railroad open trucks. In all, the company has 13 working subdivisions. The species of trees being harvested are represented by Dorskaya larch, iron spruce, and white barred fir tree. Among the broadleaf species, white birch tree is the most common. Since the beginning of 2002, the total output of harvested raw wood is 239,922 cubic meters. Usually, the 8 timberjack harvesters, 10 forward timberjacks, and 1 Komatsu excavator with sawing processor participate in the process of timber production. Altogether, 43 units of specialized harvesting machines and 51 of timber transport machinery are available on this forest land. All harvesting machinery is served by highly skilled specialists working in 1.5 shift regimen. To the lower timber yard, timber output is transported by Mercedes timber-carrying trucks, provided with trailers. On average, each truck transports about 45 cubic meters of timber daily. The decision to choose that place for harvesting was made considering the availability of the road suitable for timber carrying. Continuation of its construction was thought to be a beneficial factor in achieving planned timber output with the least expense. Lower timber yard, unloading operations are made by means of a mechanical timber loader, machines, or excavator. The wood can be stacked in piles or sent to the sorting line. From the piles, the sortiments are driven to the trestle acceptance table, and then more to the conveyor belt, where conveyors examiners take the logs by their sorts, calculate their cubic volume in harvester's units, establish numbers marked on the lower part of the log. Afterwards, the sortiments are thrown down into accumulators to the railroad loading ground. Here, the sortiments are put in loading accumulators or piled depending on tree types, diameters, or quality grades. Loading onto the railroad open trucks is carried out by the specially equipped excavators or mechanical timber loaders from the 3 loading trestles. At that time, examiners take stock of the wood on each trestle. Led to the lower timber yard, the railroad dead end is capable to accept 23 platform cars. Usually 15 platform cars are loading every day. The maximum volume loaded timber in a month is on average 30,000 cubic meters of high quality timber. The specialized team serves and repairs the platform cars as well as the railroad dead end. All employees of the Gorin Branch Lower Timber Yard work in shift regimen for 15 days a month and 12 hours a day. The close joint stock company Forest Starma works at the coast of the Sea of Okhotsk, not far from the settlement of Siziman, the shift regimen workers' settlement of Siziman. The shift regimen workers' settlement of Siziman was founded in 1993 on the forest territories leased by Forest Starma. Predominant tree types are spruce and larch trees. The monsoon climate of this area is characterized by warm and humid summers and rather hard winters. Headquarters of Forest Starma administration are separated from the main company by 900 kilometers. The forest lands leased by the Forest Starma company occupy the area of 491,941 hectares. The electric power necessary for the harvesting operation is provided by the Caterpillar diesel generator that produces 1,250 kilowatts an hour. Because of Forest Starma remoteness from the industrial centers, the company built its own stock for keeping fuel and lubricants with total capacity of 2,000 cubic meters. Diesel fuel carriage is realized by the sea tankers from the port Vanino, while technical oils are transported usually by railroad. For the technical service of the motor transport fleet, there is a repair workshop with 27 highly skilled employees who have large length of service in this sphere. For today, the number of Forest Dharma employees, including its offices in cities of Khabarovsk and Komsomolsk-on-the-Amur, is 590. Forest Dharma has 15 subdivisions that provide effective work for the whole company. Timber harvesting is carried out by coordinated annual plans for logging quotas. Thus, in 2003, the shares of white birch, spruce, and larch in total logging are supposed to be 3%, 15%, and 82% respectively. For the most effective and ecologically sound harvesting, the company uses only such specialized machinery as Timko, Kito, Caterpillar, Kamaz, and Uralmash machines, the last two being of Russian production. In all, more than 100 units of specialized and auxiliary machinery are available for the company needs. Transportation of the wood is practiced by motor transport of Japanese and American production, with carrying capacity of 20 to 30 tons. For 12 hours of the working day, timber-carrying trucks make on average 400 kilometers. The available motor transport fleet make it possible to move out 1,000 cubic meters of timber a day. However, if the timber stockpile in the upper yard is too large, the company can use machinery of other motor transportation firms. After being transported to the lower timber yard, the wood comes to the saw frame, provided with the laser sawing bench of Hiromoto Kochiko Limited Production. The laser bench was obtained from Japan in 1994. It provides longitudinal sawing of thin logs from 140 to 180 millimeters. At the present time, the saw frame produces high-quality timber for export. The saw frame also has the laser cutting device for the rational use of the world. The saw frame timber processing is served by a team of 2 operators. The harvested timber is sent off from the seaport located in the Sizimon Bay only on River Sea ships. Now the pier accepts the Omski vessels. They are 144 meters long, 15 meters wide, with carrying capacity of 3,000 tons. For loading timber onto a ship, 2 caterpillar cranes are employed with carrying capacity of 60 and 130 horsepower. In navigation period, all operations in the port are around the clock. The daily maximum of loaded wood volume is 1,800 cubic meters. The total loading of the vessel, with capacity 5.5 thousand cubic meters, usually takes 3 days. In each shift, the pier is served by 3 crane operators and 10 rafterers. The total bay water area is 10 hectares. Ribunen Hijau Group Corporation is the largest of any other company that invests money in the forest industry. The efforts and achievement of its companies are highly estimated by Region Administration.